Welcome to my newest addiction, Apex Legends. I played the game on launch and many times since then, but I've never gotten addicted until now. Because finally something in my brain clicked and I finally get it now. I finally get how to play the game. You just have to run and jump around like a 7-year-old with a ringworm and hit at least 30% of your shots. I even managed to finally perform well in the Battle Royale mode, and won a few games. Did my teammates carry me? Maybe, but I'd like to think that my positive attitude carried the team. So how did we get here? How did I finally get the game? Well, I watched like 30 Fate Movement God videos and was like, oh. So I'm supposed to move while shooting instead of standing still. Okay. It's set in the same universe and from the same studio as the Titanfall series, which, by the way, are really good. But the state of the games are unfortunate, and I remember Titanfall 2 having a really large download size because the game had a bunch of uncompressed WAV files. I wonder what Warzone's excuse is. In Apex Legends, they definitely toned down the crazy movement to something that would appeal to more people and be more manageable for more people. But that doesn't make the movement in Apex any lesser. There is still a fairly high skill curve to the movement, with some tricks to learn like the wall bounce, backward slides and tap strafing. Tap strafing might actually be removed, since it's actually like a glitch or something, but you have to do some weird stuff to make it work and I don't want to bother with that. But the point is, the movement has some depth to it, with room for you to learn and grow. Shooting guns feels really good. Every single gun I pick up in the game feels good to use. Of course, some feel better than others, but I never pick up a gun and think, oh, not this piece of garbage trash. The closest to that feeling are the burst weapons and the L-Star, because the L-Star is pretty inaccurate in my experience, and I don't like burst weapons in any game. The guns sound good, look good, and are pretty accurate across the board, mostly. Recoil isn't really a thing you have to deal with, and that's a thing I dislike about PUBG. It's a gun in your hand, not a huge fucking carp you just fished out of a lake flopping in your hand. But the guns aren't just like shooting lasers, there are some spray patterns to them. The more you shoot, the bigger the spray. That's called bloom in the FPS space, and in my opinion, the bloom in Apex is pretty forgiving. Still, the best practice is to shoot a little, stop, and then shoot again. So the core gameplay of Apex is really fun with a high skill ceiling where being good at aim and movement is important, but personally I find the game modes are lacking. Battle Royale. First off, the worst part about the Battle Royale is the looting. It isn't fun, it's bordering on tedious, because you have to do it every match, but there is a thrill here that is hard to find in other game modes. 60 players enter, 3 players leave. If you die, you lose everything and you have to start all over again. Wait, random loot, lose everything when you die. Battle Royales are just roguelikes. Why is everything I play a roguelike? I play alone because being an adult is a sad existence, so I get to experience randoms. The randoms can be categorized as the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good are the guys that drop into high activity areas and manage to survive and even kill a few. The bad are the guys that drop into high activity areas and immediately die. And then the ugly are the guys that wait until a dropship is all the way at the edge of the map and then drop into bumfuck nowhere to loot safely. Which leads into a long ass game of looting and then dying to the first team they see. When you get a good team, the game is fun. When you get a bad team, the game is boring. And the looting can be very annoying, like dropping into a high activity area and then only finding 2 charge rifles. Great. Guess I'll die. So the Battle Royale is taking a gamble. You will either have fun, or be bored or frustrated. Arenas, a 3v3 mode where you can buy the guns you wanna use. Love it. It's round based. If you or the enemy team dies, then the round ends, and a new one begins, where you have to buy a fresh new loadout every time. Of the 2 modes that are regularly available, this is the better one to practice and get better at the game, since the Battle Royale is far too random. Still, for practicing, a deathmatch mode would be far better, or the control mode they let us play for a while. But it was too much fun, so they removed it. The arenas are fun in short bursts, but my main issue with it is that the maps don't offer you as many options in terms of moving creatively as the Battle Royale maps do. And of course, the wait between rounds while you're buying loadouts can be a little boring and a little too long. So a short little fun mode that gives you a straight fight between 2 teams to let you experience how good the combat is. But the cool movement stuff is a little lacking. Like you can't move through a building jumping on zip lines and shit at lightning speed like you can in the BR. Legend. I feel like when League of Legends came out, developers were starting to realize that having these characters that you could get invested in and main was really important for retention. Respawn definitely capitalized on that with Apex Legends. Each legend has a unique playstyle with an ability and an ultimate to complement that playstyle. But there's also a large amount of customization, with skins, banners, stat trackers, and emotes that you mainly get out of loot boxes. Ew. Also an heirloom melee weapon for each legend. I have one for Revenant. His special ability is crouching really fast, and his grenade that silences enemy abilities. But I recently unlocked Fuse, and well, friendship ended with Revenant, now Fuse is my best friend. There is only one reason for that: his knuckle cluster grenades. It is really funny when an enemy team decides to go into an enclosed space with 1 or 2 exits, and then I shoot a knuckle cluster in there. I either smoke them out or they die in there. The new legend Vantage also looks awesome because her ultimate is a sniper, and I think her passive is highlighting enemies, and her ability is being able to jump to her bat. Good movement and good sniping. Just seeing that activates all my dopamines. Update. Played her, she's great, but she's new, so everyone wants to play her. I seem to do well on Watson somehow. She uses these electric gates, and her ultimate charges your shields and stops enemy grenades. Do you get it? Watson, electricity, what's on? Valkyrie can fly and shoot missiles. I love her too. Point is, lots of pretty different characters, so you will probably find something you like. Problems. I have never experienced a bug or a performance issue, but I have experienced a networking issue. Extreme rubber banding that made the game unplayable during Season 13. However, it hasn't happened for a while, but I remember it just happening randomly one match and then it would be fine the next match. For the bugs and performance issues though, I have seen videos and articles that talk about how many bugs, glitches or issues there were in early Season 13. But so far in Season 14 I haven't seen anything like that. When Apex first came out, the in-game voice comms were absolutely awful. That has been fixed, and I can actually hear and understand what my team is saying. Unless they're Russian or French, because those people just refuse to learn or speak English. The next problem is people leaving the game. If people leave during the lobby, then you end up with only a 2-person team, which obviously is a serious disadvantage. And then, if you have a team and drop into a high activity area and one of your teammates die, there's a 70% chance that the teammate will immediately leave the game. Which I do understand why. Waiting to respawn or get revived isn't very fun, but it fucks me and my other teammate over. This could be fixed with a system of joining an active game with some loot to replace a teammate that left. But obviously they would have to make sure that you don't just drop in on an active firefight and just blast an unsuspecting team with good weapons. But the biggest problem I have with the game is I just want control back, or give me a deathmatch mode. Just a casual mode to have fun. Please, EA, Respawn, just let me have fun. Battle passes. I don't like them. They are a fear of missing out mechanic that incentivizes you to grind the game even if you don't particularly want to play because you don't want to miss out on the skins or the premium currency that's available in this one. I will say that I do like that if you buy the battle pass here, you will earn enough currency from it that you can buy the next one. But then that also introduces a sunk cost line of thinking. If I don't grind all the battle pass, I feel like I've wasted the $10 it costs to buy the battle pass. So I don't like battle passes. I think it's another scummy psychological trick that preys on your brain that we see far too much of in games these days. Conclusion. Apex Legends is the only battle royale I can tolerate playing for an extended period of time. I love its mechanics and character design, and the story videos they keep releasing are pretty good. They took the best pages from Overwatch's book. The visuals are great, lots of color that makes enemies stand out more and easier to spot, but you can hide. Just look at the contrast between Apex Legends to Warzone. Here's Warzone. Now here's Apex Legends. Warzone has the color scheme of a PS3 game. Do you remember that? When every game was grey and brown? So yeah, after experiencing the great colors and movements of Apex, I just can't stomach Warzone anymore. But Warzone 2 is coming out, so maybe they will learn how to code some color into the game. The game modes are pretty lacking, but the gameplay mechanics are awesome. And I give Apex Legends 1 fade out of an It's Timmy, because fade is better. That means the game is good. Subscribe, call me Uncle Brian, and have a great day.